Today, I'm traveling to the biggest gambling city in the world to risk tens of thousands of dollars playing high-stakes poker. We'll be playing at the Aria in Las Vegas, where some of the biggest poker content creators and craziest gamblers come to bring the action.
How much money I'm making?
You're gonna make a lot tonight. How much hot sauce are you drinking? That's what I want to know.
Oh no! Oh, what an unbelievable pour.
Nada.
You're not going to want to miss this one as we get into two different $60,000 pots where I'll be forced to make some of the biggest all-in decisions of my life.
I made a good hand, but it just doesn't feel good.
And if that wasn't enough, I also make quads in a $26,000 pot against my fellow content creator, Mariano. Our Sin City poker journey starts out and ends at the beautiful Aria Resort located on the Las Vegas Strip. I head onto the set of No Gamble, No Future, one of the most popular poker shows of all time. I'm joined by my good buddy Rampage and fellow Dallas native Randy 3Coin. I buy in for $20,000 of my own money, and in this first hand, Randy opens it up to $600 with pocket eights. I find myself on the button with the Cowboys, pocket kings, and this is a great spot to go for a 3-bet. But there's already been a lot of action shown on this table so far, so I decide to limp in for $600. I think this is a crazy play because someone behind me could decide to squeeze, putting more money in, and then I could go for the jam or re-raise.
What is going on?
Well, as JYN, Marcus has the 10-9 suited.
This is ridiculous.
That's exactly what happens. Prelog finds the call, Young finds the call, and Marcus Gonzalez, he now 3-bets to $4,000.
Dream spot for Wolfgang.
This is exactly what we wanted to happen. Marcus is attacking what appears to be a pretty capped range from myself on the button. There's a lot of dead money out there, so I don't blame him, but Randy Sadler, aka 3Coin, makes our dreams come true when he now 4-bets to $9,000. I have the second best hand in all of poker. All 15K of my remaining chips are going into the middle. Both Marcus and Randy find the call, so just like that, we're playing a $43,000 pot, and I have a 69% chance to win all of it. We're gonna run it 2 times, which means we're gonna have 2 different pots, one for the first 5 cards and then one for another 5 cards. This happens a lot in these big games where people want to cut the pot in half and have a little bit less risk.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Support group.
3 ways to the flop here in a massive pot, and it comes king, queen, 7. Bang, we flop top set. The turn gives me a boat with the 7 of diamonds, and the river kills one of Randy's outs. He makes a boat on the river with the 8 of spades.
Oh, an 8 on the river.
Oh no, what a waste of the 8.
Alright, we have half the pot locked up, so basically a free roll at this point. We're off to another 5 cards. The second flop comes ace, 9, jack, all diamonds. Randy has the 8 of diamonds, and Marcus has made bottom pair. But then the turn comes the 9 of hearts, giving Marcus a 78% chance to win it with 3 of a kind. With 1 card to come, we're drawing pretty slim, and Randy comes from behind and takes it down with another full house on the river.
Is an 8! How? The case 8!
Just like that, we're chopping the pot with Randy. Marcus had his hopes up on the turn just to get crushed on the river, and Randy 3Coin and I are chopping up 43.2K.
Oh my god.
Wait, hey Randy, let's both bang Marcus. Let's both bang Marcus. Let's both bang him. I'll gladly present you with a banger. Oh. Marcus, that was sick.
Bang!
Nice hand.
Love you, brother.
Bang!
The knit game has just been announced, and I have just over $20,000 in my stack. I'm in the under the gun position, and I look down at ace 9 of clubs and decide to raise it up to $400. Marcus and Luis both put in the call. We're going 3 ways to the flop. The flop comes 5-5 deuce with 2 clubs, giving me the ace high flush draw. I decide to bet out for $500, and Marcus is the only player to put in the call. The turn now comes the king of clubs. Bang, we turn the flush. I decide to go for value here once again, and I bet $2,000 into the $2,500 pot. I want to set up a nice size bet on the river, and I think going large here is the exact way to do it. Marcus doesn't fold or call. Instead, now he raises me up to $6,500, and this pot is definitely getting large. I have a flush, the best flush to be exact, but the board is paired. What kind of boats would he have here that would have my ace high flush crushed? Well, he could have something like at king 5, maybe 5 deuce if he's crazy enough, or of course pocket deuces. I don't think Marcus has pocket kings, so I decided to put in the call and hopefully we can get more information on the river. The river now comes the 9 of hearts, which should change absolutely nothing. So when I check it over to him and he jams for my remaining 13.1k, I decided to put in the call. We're playing a 41.7k pot, and when the cards hit their backs, we see the terrible news. Marcus flopped a boat. I didn't want to hit a club on the turn. Marcus is now returning the favor by putting the bang stickers back onto my chest.
Bang, bang, bang.
Oh, get the bang, Wolfgang.
This is a violation of the Bangs terms and contracts.
Bang, bang, baby.
Mordecai. Flop a boat like that.
Wolfgang gets banged.
Alright, after getting felted by Marcus in that cooler hand, I reach back into my pocket and take out $15,000 more dollars. I'm in for $35,000 now, and I raise it up to $400 with Queen 10 offsuit. Both Prelog and Young are gonna put in the call here, off 3 ways to the flop with $1,600 in the middle. The flop comes King Jack Jack, and even though the board is paired, I have an open-ended straight draw, so I decide to fire out for $300. Only Prelog puts in the call, bringing in the turn, which comes the 9 of clubs. Bang, we turn the straight. I decide to get tricky here and start with a check. If he has a jack, he's gonna bet it himself. He might also bet a king, and I think checking here balances my range pretty nicely. When I check it over to Prelog, he now takes up the betting lead and fires out for $1,000. Should I go for the check raise now, or should I just put in the smooth call, allowing him to blast off on the river? I decide to raise it up right here, right now. I want to play a big pot. I want to get value from an ace king, king queen, queen jack, ace jack type of hand, and I make it $3,500 to go. Without much thought, he puts in the call, and just like that, we're playing a $9,000 river, which comes one of the worst cards in the deck, the king of hearts. Now any king has a boat, any jack now has filled up on the river, and I'm stuck in no man's land. I have a straight, but it's just a bluff catcher at this point. If I check it over to Prelog, my hand looks really weak, and he gets his fire out with all of his pocket 8s, pocket 10s, and get me off of the best hand. So I decided to do a very weird play here and bet out small for $700. Even though 9 times out of 10 I'm lighting the $700 on fire, it allows me to get a ton of information. If he puts in a raise, well, assuredly he'll have me beat, and that's exactly what happens when he goes into the tank, looks a little bit distraught, but then finally rips it all in on me with Jack 10 offsuit. What a terrible river card. We were gonna win the maximum on any clean river, but instead the poker gods decide to punish me once again, and of course I have to fold my cards. Let's just say this session isn't going exactly the way I drew it up. I don't have many chips on the table. If I have any chance of getting unstuck and maybe making some money on this session, I have to go into my bag and put the rest of the money I brought into the Poker Go studio on the table. That's $23,000 more dollars, and now I'm in for $58,000 when I find myself in a very weird spot here against Marcus and Rampage. Marcus opens it up to $300, and Rampage 3-bets him to 1.6k. Marcus has been playing pretty loose tonight, and same with my buddy Rampage, so when I look down at 10-6 of hearts on the button, I have some evil intentions go through my brain. On one side of the coin, I should just fold my cards. I'm stuck a ton of money, and playing a hand like 10-6 of hearts could get me into a lot of trouble. But on the other side of the coin, the last time I was here at the no gamble, no future set, I played a massive $82,000 pot versus Rampage, so I think I owe him a little bit of action, and I kind of want to have some fun here too. He'll never see 10-6 of hearts coming, so I decided to 4-bet him to 3.9k. Yeah, this isn't something you'll see me do too often, but I'm on a big live stream, I'm stuck a ton of money, I want to win some of it back, and maybe Rampage is just rubbing off onto me with all of his punts. But when I 4-bet him, he decides to put in the call, and we're playing an $8,500 flop, which comes 9-7-6 with 2 spades.
9-7-6.
Is there a world
One
in which
heart.
they just play a massive one
They
here?
could. I mean, Wolfgang, bottom pair, gutter, backdoor straight flush draw, Rampage, top pair now, top 2, and the flush draw is there for Wolfgang.
this is exactly how it all unfolds. Wolfgang, remember, 4-betting in this hand.
There's 8.5K in the middle, and Ethan now takes up the betting lead and fires out for 6.5K. Kinda strange because I thought he would check it over to me. I'm way more likely to have King, Queen, and Ace, King than he is, so when he fires out for 6.5K, I'm definitely not gonna put in a raise, but I'm also not gonna be folding now that I've picked up a lot more outs. And just like that, we're playing an over 20K pot. Off to the river, what will come? Will our hand improve? Yes, it comes a 7 of hearts.
And the river is the 7 of hearts. The flush comes in for Wolfgang.
We have just now backed into the 10 high flush, although the 7 of hearts now pairs the board. Ethan doesn't think too long, and in typical Rampage fashion, he puts the pedal to the metal. He doesn't slow down at all, putting me to the test once again here on No Gamble, No Future, and puts me all in for $21,000. After I improve to the rivered flush, I can't fold my hand. I just posture for a second to think about the hands that have me beat. He could have 6-7, he could have 9-7. Of course, he could have pocket 6s or pocket 9s.
I made a good hand, but it just doesn't feel good.
But I'm definitely not going to be invited back if I start folding flushes in these big live stream games, so I put in the call, and a $63,000 pot is going to be pushed our way when Ethan turns over King, 9 of diamonds.
There is the call. There is the win for Wolfgang, who gets the best of Rampage once again.
Bang!
King 9. I am going to reserve the right to not bang my friend.
I would have won that.
I win
Wait.
pots off of him.
Say that slowly for the camera, please.
I think he was betting this here in case I have a hand like King, Queen, or Ace, King, but instead, I'm the one that gets the best of Rampage once again here on No Gamble, No Future, taking in a $63,000 pot, and finally, I'm unstuck on the session, now up $5,000. It feels pretty great because at one point, I was stuck 35 grand, and now I'm up on the session, but why does it always have to be against Rampage, one of my good friends? The action has been crazy tonight, and I'm feeling generous with an offer that you guys can take advantage of. If you enjoy playing the game we all love, here's a place you can do it from the comfort of your home. If you do this, you'll get this. And if you do this, you'll get this. Just make sure you type in Wolfgang here to be eligible. You know what they say though, there's no friends at the poker table, and we get right back into the action here with King, Queen of Spades, and I open it up to $500. The player on the button puts in the call, and now Marcus 3-bets to $3,000 from the big blind, and I find the call. 3 ways to the flop here with just under $10,000 in the middle, and it comes Ace 10-9 Rainbow. The action checks through on the flop, bringing in the 8 of diamonds on the turn. I still just have King high, so when the action's on me, I check it over to the button, who now fires out for around half pot, 4.7K. Marcus puts in the call, which is kind of weird because after he checks the flop and the turn after 3-betting pre-flop, I think he most likely has a hand like jacks or queens or kings. I don't think he ever has Ace King when he checks it twice on that turn, so when pre-log bets and Marcus calls, it's kind of an interesting spot here where I could turn my hand into a bluff depending on how crazy I want to get. I'm finally unstuck on the session, and I want to put these chips to work. They're not going to collect any dust. I now check raise on the turn to 18.5K with just King high and a gut shot to Broadway. Usually when you go for a raise, you want to make it around the size of the pot, and I do a perfect job of calculating 18.5K here. One by one, my opponents fall. First pre-log, and then Marcus, what does he have? I read him like a book. Pocket kings after he checked twice.
It's gonna work out perfectly for Wolfgang, it appears.
There's just no way he had a super strong hand, taking down a $37,000 pot.
But he folds the kings. Bravo, Wolfgang. He was playing 1-2 4 years ago. Now he's on No Gamble, No Future. Playing on a stake.
4 years ago?
Yeah.
He must have really bought the dip.
Points.
I have over $80,000 now in my stack, which means I'm up just north of $20,000. This hand gets pretty crazy as Marcus puts out the $200 straddle and Ethan follows it up with the $400 straddle. I look down at ace queen offsuit, a great hand from the button, and make it 1.1k to go. Young in the big blind now 3-bets me to $4,000, and you can see how these straddles have just made a massive spot pre-flop. If there wasn't a 2 and 400 on, this 3-bet sizing from Young would be a lot smaller. But when the action folds back around to me, ace queen offsuit is a very good hand. Young could just be targeting my opening range here and thinking he can get a lot of folds, but little does he know I actually have a pretty good hand. I decide to come in for a 4-bet. I'll have position the rest of the way, and I make it 8.7k to go. I don't need to go super large because 4-bets are already super strong, so I make it just a little bit more than a minimum raise, and Young comes along. He wants to see a flop, puts in the call, and look at that, there's over $18,000 in the middle, and we haven't even seen the flop. If Young had a hand like pocket nines through pocket queens, the poker gods calm our fears right away on an A7-4 rainbow flop. He checks it over to me, and I decide this is a perfect opportunity to go for a Cinco de Mayo, baby, $5,500. Let's have a fiesta.
Cinco de Mayo. He knows.
Young doesn't think about it for too long before shoving all in for 21.8k. Does he have pocket sevens? Does he have me beat with ace king? Are we chopping versus ace queen? Or is he just on monkey tilt here and wants to get it in with a hand like pocket jacks and just see what happens? I can't go anywhere. I made top pair. I have an amazing hand. I put in the call and a $62,000 run out ensues. When the cards hit their backs, we see we're in amazing shape. The only way he's gonna win this is with running nines. So when the turn and river come the 7 and the 8, the 62k pot is ours. And best of all, when we're taking in big pots, we gotta administer the bang sticker as well.
You've been banged.
Banged by Wolfgang. Wolfgang's been banging everybody today on No Gamble, No Future.
Oh, there it is, right there, yeah.
After that last hand to end the night, I ended up cashing out for $111,700 for a profit of 53.7k, marking my biggest ever win. What's crazy is that prior to this, my next biggest win came on this exact same show where I played the biggest pot of my life, $82,000 versus Rampage. No Gamble, No Future always treats me well. Hopefully, I'll keep getting invited back. Some time goes by and I find myself still in Vegas. I get a text from Bryce Hall, who I assume is recruiting me to collab on a new TikTok dance together, but to my surprise, it's actually to play a $25.50 cash game at the Aria once again, this time with Rampage, Mariano, Sam Soverel, and Jerry. I'm in for $10,000 and I get into it with Bryce Hall right away when he opens it up to $150, and I defend my big blind with Queen 10 offsuit. When the flop comes Ace 4 deuce all clubs, and he now bets out for $225, I put in the call because I have the Queen of clubs and I want to back into a flush. The turn gives me the flush right away on the 9 of clubs, but the action goes check, check. When the river now comes the 5 of clubs, I allow Bryce to go for a bluff, but unfortunately he checks behind, so we're taking down the first hand of the night with our queen high flush.
He doesn't fall for it.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
With 12k in my stack, I look down at pocket jacks and open it up to $150 from the hijack. Mariano 3-bets me on the button up to $500, and instead of 4-betting and bloating the pot, I decide to call out of position, and we're off to a flop which comes 10-6-6 with 2 spades. I check it over to Mariano, who now bets out small for $350, and I have a few options. If I'm putting him on a hand like ace king, king queen, I might want to just call here and allow him to blast off on turns or rivers. But if I think he has a made hand, I want to charge those hands and go for a check raise somewhere around $1,500. I decide this time just to put in the call, and the turn now comes the 9 of clubs. On the turn, the action goes check, check, bringing in a brick, the 3 of diamonds on the river. I bet out small here, just trying to get called by ace high or a random pocket pair that doesn't believe me, but Mariano snap folds his cards. In this next hand, there's an open from Sam to 125 and a bunch of calls. I decide to defend the big blind with king 6 of hearts, and the flop gives me top pair. The action checks around, bringing in the 9 of diamonds on the turn. turn. When the action checks over to Sam, he now bets out for $125. Action folds back around to me, and with king 6 of hearts, I have top pair. I want to find out where I am in the hand and also get some value, so I check raise him to $375. Now, if you don't know who Sam Soverel is, he's a tournament player with over $24 million in total live earnings, good for 40th on the all-time money list. Sam puts in the call on the turn, bringing in the queen of hearts on the river, connecting the board even further. With king 6 of hearts here, top pair bad kicker, I decide to check and try to get to a cheap showdown in a $1,300 pot. But Sam Soverel shows us exactly why he has over $24 million in earnings when he more than double over bets the pot for $3,000. If we look at his hand, he has ace queen offsuit with the ace of diamonds. He blocks the nut flush. He blocks a hand like ace jack. So I love this bet here from Sam, but unfortunately I have to let this hand go, and Sam Soverel's gonna take this one down, bringing us into the best hand of the night and the vlog, pocket fives. Ethan opens it up to $300, and I'm in the cutoff and call as well. Mariano in the small blind now 3-bets the both of us to $1,500, and after Ethan puts in the call for $1,200 more, I decide to set mine, toss in $1,200 more dollars, and we're going 3 ways in position to a flop. I kid you not, the flop comes out queen 5-5, bang, we flop quads, and Mariano continues to bet to the tune of $1,500.
And Wolfgang.
Unreal. Oh my God. Unreal.
Flop quads.
Flop
He just drilled
quads.
After Ethan gets out of the way, I only have one option, and that's put in the call. If Mariano is gonna blast off into us, I don't want to give any signs that I have a good hand here and give him the rope to do so. The turn now comes the 6 of spades, and I'm hoping Mariano has a top pair, over pair type of hand and continues to bet. So when he checks it over to me, I'm a little bit discouraged, but I still have quads. It's going to be a sick hand for the vlog, and maybe Mariano's checking on this turn to balance his range and will actually put more money in the middle. Now when it checks over to me, I have 2 options. I could go for a bet here and try to get value from a lot of his hands, or I could check behind, allowing him to put money in on the river. So when I check behind on the turn and get tricky, in the river comes the 9 of diamonds, Mariano now takes the bait and fires out for $750 in the actions on me. With 9.2k in my stack and 8.4k in the middle, I have just over a river shove here, and that's exactly what I decide to do. You gotta get greedy and go for max value. He could look me up here. Mariano is known for making light calls when he goes with his read, and I'm hoping my check back on the turn made it look a little bit fishy as to why I would be shoving on this river. He doesn't snap fold, which is great news because now he could have a read on me, and he's thinking about whether he wants to put in an additional $8,475. As the time goes on though, I'm thinking in my head that he's probably going to find the fold. This is kind of a strong play for me, and I'm not often going to be finding the bluff against a good player in this spot, so I'm thinking he's going to fold.
If I fold, then I'm gonna sticker. Join the club, brother. Join the club, huh?
This is the longest decision we've seen tonight.
But after 3 minutes in the tank, Mariano flicks in the call with 6-7 of hearts.
He makes the call. Oh my God. Wolfgang makes all the money with quads.
But he went with his read, and a 26k pot is being shipped over my way. Pocket fives taking it down with quads. Cinco de Mayo, baby. It's a fiesta. And Mariano, I gotta put a bang sticker on you. You earned it.
That really go, buddy. Dude, how do you...
And the doom zoom.
Dude, I hate this luck box.
Oh my God.
Fucking luck box. I told you.
The wolf.
We wrap up this session of cash flow with a profit of $13,450. Shout out to Bryce Hall for the invite and Mariano for that call on the river. Added up with my win on No Gamble, No Future, I get to a total of $67,150 in Las Vegas. I need you guys to comment below what you thought of this video and subscribe. Make sure you turn on that post notification bell for future videos. Remember to take advantage of the offer that's on your screen right now. If you do this, you'll get this much, and if you get this, you'll get this much loaded into your account. I'll see you guys on the virtual felt.